The Harivamśa Purana, Chapter 19, The Wrestling Match, Death of a Tyrant. Both Mushtika and Toshala hurtled towards Krishna as Balarama wrapped both his arms around Nikriti's waist and slammed him to the ground. Nikriti died on the spot while an enraged Krishna lounged at Toshala and Mushtika. Balarama quickly got up and faced Mushtika. Another terrific battle ensued as Balarama and Mushtika wrestled like well-seasoned warriors, while Toshala and Lord Krishna were engaged in a deadlock. All the while, King Kamsa's face was drenched with fear, sweat, and wrinkles. It became obvious to the audience that the wrestlers only intended to kill Krishna and Balarama. Mushtika and Balarama wrestled and rolled in the mud, but Balarama managed to get both his arms under each of Mushtika's armpits from behind, and Balarama delivered his coup de grace by pressing his knee on his spine. He kept pressing his knee on Mushtika's back while pulling Mushtika's arms until a loud snap was heard throughout the stadium. And once more, that mighty son of Rohini, the plowman Balarama, snapped Mushtika in half by breaking his spine. As the audience gasped at the wonders of a 12-year-old Balarama, while the 11-year-old Krishna was busy with Toshala, and Krishna's signature move was lifting and hurling. Sure enough, in time after wrestling with Toshala on the ground, Krishna managed to lift Toshala above his shoulders and spun him over a dozen times and slammed him hard on the ground with his face first. His skull was crushed by the force of Krishna's hurl and blood gushed everywhere. Krishna and Balarama began pacing throughout the ring like lions prowling the ground looking for meat. King Kamsa was now trembling head to toe as he desperately looked for more wrestlers to throw into the ring, but every other wrestler had fled after they heard the plowman Balarama snap the spine of Mushtika. The mangled bodies of the dead wrestlers remained on the ring. Terror and anger gripped King Kamsa as he began to see the Grim Reaper. In a frenzy, he called out the guards. "Men, arrest the two scoundrels in the ring. Throw them in the dungeons. Throw the vile father of Krishna, Vasudeva, into the dungeon and clap the entire village of Vrindavana in irons. Take away all their cattle and invade the village. Do it now!" roared King Kamsa. But before anyone saw or understood what was happening, Krishna had leapt onto King Kamsa's seat and grabbed him by the hair. King Kamsa was partially frozen in both fear and shock as death approached him. The boy of 12 dragged the king of Mathura by the hair and threw him on the center of the ring. He then pounced on him like a tiger leaping onto prey. Placing his knee on his neck, the god incarnate slammed his fist 3 times onto the tyrant's chest, and by the 3rd time, the cruel king of Mathura screamed in agony as blood splurted from his mouth and he lay down dead. An ear-shattering roar was heard from the audience as they all cheered in euphoric enthusiasm on the death of their oppressor. "Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna!" bellowed the chorus of the audience, while both Balarama and Krishna wiped the sweat off their foreheads. the chieftain of Vrindavana, Nanda, came running with a silken towel to wipe Balarama, while Vasudeva rushed to comfort Krishna. Devaki, Krishna's biological mother, shed tears of joy, and all the citizens of the nearby Yadava villages flooded into the stadium and carried the two boys on their shoulders and cried at the top of their lungs, "Here is the hero of the Yadu clans, the mighty Krishna, the vanquisher of King Kamsa." Hundreds upon hundreds of citizens flocked around the villages carrying the two boys. They carried him all over the city of Mathura, singing the same chorus. With the destruction of King Kamsa, Krishna was declared the undisputed ruler of Mathura. All the citizens flocked around the 11-year-old boy, and a few citizens began pressing his legs while others reached out to massage his shoulders. Akrura approached Krishna and shooed away some of the masseurs and asked, "O mighty king of Mathura, what would you like your servant do? What are your first orders?" Krishna, as always, sporting a naughty smirk on his dark blue skin, nodded. "Take me to the dungeons where Ugrasena, the father of Kamsa, is imprisoned," he commanded. And despite being an 11-year-old, he had the commanding presence of a veteran king. Such was the strength of his voice that all the villagers automatically bowed. Krishna approached the mangled body of Kamsa and lifted the golden crown with the diamond and ruby encrusted gemstones from the head of King Kamsa's dead body. He then followed Akrura and a host of other princes, citizens, villagers, and people to the dungeons where Kamsa had imprisoned his own father. They went beneath the castle walls to the dungeons. As soon as they entered the dungeons, putrid smells of human waste and defecation filled their nostrils. Some of the villagers could not enter and left, but neither Krishna or Balarama wavered. Akrura, covering his nose, made his way deeper into the dungeons. Stench of death, blood, and feces followed them as they made their way past the torture chambers and saw the mangled bodies of innocent civilians who could not afford to pay Kamsa's excessive taxes. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of walking in putrid, stench-filled dark dungeons, they came across a small jail cell where the aged Ugrasena, father of Kamsa, lay curled up against the walls in a small loin cloth covering his groin region. Krishna burst open the cell door with one arm as the warden fumbled with the keys. The commotion woke Ugrasena as he wailed, "No, please don't hurt me." But Krishna's warm smile encouraged the old man to stand up. He placed the crown of Mathura on his head, while Ugrasena kissed the back of Krishna's hands. "Citizens of Mathura, behold your king," bellowed Krishna. And Ugrasena simply refused the throne and mentioned, "I am too old and incapable. You are young. You are mighty," he said. Lord Krishna was having none of it. "Wisdom is the secret of statesmanship, your majesty, and you hold the lineage and the royal bloodline of the Yadu dynasty. It is therefore your throne," commanded Krishna. And then Krishna commanded the men to perform the coronation in the dungeons under his watchful eyes as Ugrasena cried tears of joy. The very next day, Ugrasena was decorated and a grander and much more exquisite coronation took place, with feasting and dancing. Everyone in Mathura was euphoric in their celebration of the death of the evil tyrant King Kamsa. Wow! What an amazing tale! How magnanimous is the Lord Krishna! How wondrous is this tale! How kind of the Lord to coronate the father of King Kamsa, said Janamejaya. The Rajaguru Vaishampayana nodded with love. This is the mighty tale of the Lord of all beings, as he incarnated into the world for the preservation of justice and the vanquishing of evil. Those fortunate souls who are blessed to hear this tale will earn the favor of Lord Krishna. They will grow in their faith of the great god Mahavishnu. The mighty Mahavishnu will save them from the hellish planets of Yama and steer them into the heaven of Vaikuntha. Such is the glory of the great god Mahavishnu. Always seek to worship him, my lord, for he will protect all those who are dear to him, said the Rajaguru Vaishampayana, as the king Janamejaya had a tear in his eye, and he nodded. Thus ends the first canto of the Harivamśa, the story of the birth of the Lord.
I hope you liked today's episode of The House of Kuru. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video so that you will be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thank you.